Okay, good morning, students. Welcome to class. It's mathematics once again, and it's for grade 8. And our textbook of reference is the New General Mathematics, book 2, JS2. We started a series that has taken us into cylinders and cone. And per our previous class, we've looked at the curved surface area of a cylinder. We've looked at the total surface area of a cylinder. And likely today we'll be going into volume of a cylinder and hence transitioning to what is called your cone. All right, before we take anything further, I want you to go to your textbook, exercise 19C, exercise 19B rather, question 5. Exercise 19B, question 5. I want you to attempt the question and I want an answer in the next 5 minutes. So let's start with that. Exercise 19B to take care of today. Right. Now, the question, exercise 19B, question 5, it says, a closed thing, a closed thing, a closed thing. A closed thing, we have two covered circles and a curved surface area. Right? It's in the shape of what? A cylinder of diameter 10 cm and height 15 cm. So you start by saying diameter 10 cm, height. So if the diameter is 10 cm, what would the radius be? That's what you need to see. You need to know and then work towards that. Will be what? 10 over 2, and that will be 5 cm. What is the height? The height is what? 15 cm. So now you are told to calculate the total surface area. So the total surface area will be equal to the curved surface area plus 2 times area of base of cylinder. I'm using terms now because sometimes in the exam, some examiners can be funny. They'll try to confuse you. They'll try to confuse you. They will try to confuse you. So the total surface area will be curved surface area plus 2 times the base area. Now look at, we already know what a cylinder looks like. So what that means is this. I've always told us that it's best not to cram formula or memorize formula. It doesn't help because sometimes you may memorize the formula and you may use the formula wrongly. It's one thing to know the formula, it's another thing to use the formula correctly. So understand where the question is going to. It says it's closed. If it's closed, means that the top, imagine your Milo at home. Maybe I should even get one so that I can get one. This is what a cylinder looks like because some of you are, I don't understand. You're looking as if we're talking Greek here. This is a cylinder. Now, if it's opened, it means that this circle, look at it, this circle, this circular shape up is off the top. So when we say it is closed, it means that this top circle, such that what I have is that when anything is closed, the content can't fall off. Are you seeing it? It can't fall off. That's what it means to be closed. So what are you saying? You have a circle on top. You have a circle on top. I have another circle under. So that's why I said 2 times the area of these 2 circles plus this curved surface, when you talk about curved surface area, this is the part that is curved surface. Is that clear to some persons now? Because some of you are looking at me and I was just like, oh, Father, help my spirit. All right, so with that, let's go in. It will now be what? 2 pi RH. How did we get 2 pi RH? If you imagine a plane sheet, I don't know how many of us were in the previous class. If I roll it up, what I'm going to have is that one side, the height becomes the length, and the circumference becomes the base. So that's what's happening here. So plus what? 2 times pi r squared. Are you seeing that? So because I taught you how to factorize, I will factor out 2 pi r and I'll be left with h plus what? R. Because you've already been taught factorization. So this will give me 2 times pi. Don't need to simplify pi out yet. Times, what is the radius? The radius is 5 into what is height? 15 plus what is the radius? The radius is what? 5. So when I do this, I'll get 10 pi times what? 20, which will give me what? 200 pi. What is pi? You are told to take pi as what? 3.14. So at the end of the day, now, it's not just the topic I'm teaching you now. I'm trying to teach you how to network your thoughts. 2 zeros means move to decimal places here, and this will make this a whole number. I seen that, and that will give you what? 628 centimeter squared. So that is it. So now we are applying all the knowledge we had gathered previously. I see that. So this is what we have gotten so far. Now let's go to the second iteration of the question. The second part now requires that we should calculate the value of the tin to the nearest 10 naira. If the tin plate cost what? 4,500 per meter squared. Per meter squared. So you need to convert this to meters squared. Here, you see, one minimum condition for this aspect is that you must know your conversions very well. 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. So 1 meter squared will be equal to 100 times 100 in what? Centimeter squared. So this will now give you 10,000 centimeter squared. So the question now says, what is the cost to the nearest naira if the tin plate costs that per what? Meter cube. So this is what 1 meter cube will be. This is what we have. So the price, the cost, so cost will be equal to what? What is it you want to do? What is it you got? Over what is the cost per meter? I mean, what is the measurement in meters? Times what is the cost per meter? The cost per meter is what? 4,500. So you cannot cancel out. This will go with this. This will go with this. And this will go with this. Now, what is the next logical thing to do? You discover that this is what? This is 100, and this is what? 45. So I would, for me, I will cancel with this. I'll have 9 here, 5. 5 go here, I'll get 20. What else can I do? I'll cancel with 2 here, I'll get 10. And I'll cancel with 2 here, I'll get 314. The mistake some of you will make now is to try to cancel with 10. No, because you know that 10 only does what? 10 will help move decimal places. So what do? Multiply 314 by 9 and get an answer. That will give me 6. A carry of 3, that will give me 2 here. A carry of 1, and that will give me 28. So that will be 2826, if I know what is right, divided by 10. And that will give me 282 naira 60 kobo. But they now told you to the nearest 10 naira. To the nearest 10 naira is this position. So my answer becomes what? 290 naira. And that settles that question. So you see that it's not just enough for you to know how to calculate the area, but also to be able, other areas of maths that you have studied, can you bring them to play or to bear in a question like this? That's why I chose to solve this one. This is the kind of question your teacher would love to set. Me, this is the kind of question I would like to set. In our previous class, we talked about what the volume of a cylinder would be. We said that, now take note that generally, comma, volume of any solid equal to base area times the height times the perpendicular. Anytime you see this sign in math, it's what? Perpendicular. Look at it. It looks like an upside down T. It means perpendicular. We are referring to a particular type of height, not just any height. A particular type of height. Perpendicular height is height that is straight. For instance, the height that exists in this cylinder is called the perpendicular height. So of course, I copy, you will not watch now. The height that exists for a cylinder is called the perpendicular height. You will copy, don't worry. This is a perpendicular height. I seen it. Good. Because we will soon come into another shape where you'll be hearing something like slant height. So take note of this. So this is perpendicular height. Perpendicular height. Good. So the volume of any solid is the base area times the perpendicular height. That's it. So if you know the base, work out the perpendicular height, you've gotten the area. So for a cylinder, comma, it is what? Area of circle times what? Perpendicular height. What's the area of a circle? The area of a circle is told to be what? Pi r squared times what's the perpendicular height. Now take note of this. Anytime in geometry you see the letter H, usually when you're talking about mensuration, I'll spell mensuration on the board. Look down, see where I'm writing. Mensuration. Anytime you're dealing with geometry and you're dealing with a subtopic, mensuration, you see the letter H. We are talking about perpendicular height. You need to know these codes. They are not there for the fun. Math is a very organized and orderly subject. So anytime you see H, it is talking about perpendicular height. So that will be times H. So the formula becomes what? Pi r squared H. So this formula you are seeing has a very good interpretation mathematically. All right. So you have it, it's time to work. Okay, we will start. Let's look at exercise 19C. Let me leave you to solve question 1 and 2. So let's try it out, question 1 and 2. All right, 19C, number 1. Okay, we are told to take pi to be 22/7. Calculate the volume of a cylindrical steel bar, which is 8 cm long. Now, that height is equal to what? 8 cm. Please take note, sometimes length would mean height. First observation, length could also mean height. Now, why is length the same thing as height? If I'm standing like this, let's assume I'm a cylinder and I'm like this. The description will be what? Height. But if I were to, okay, very good. I have a marker here. Look at this marker. If it stay like this, this is what? Height. If I put it like this, what would it be? It's length. So take note that length and height, as it pertains to a cylinder, they are one and the same thing. All right. So that's for height. Now, the next thing we need to take note of is what is the radius? The radius is what? Okay, we're given diameter. Diameter is equal to 3.5 cm. So radius will be equal to 3.5 divided by 2, which will be 1.75. I seen that in cm. So what will be the volume? The volume will be equal to, for those that like to quote formula, pi r squared h, but it's not necessary. You don't earn any mark for quoting formulas. So that will be 22/7 times radius, which is what? 1.75 times 1.75 times height, which is what? 8. So let me bring this in so that I can put this calculation in perspective. Now this is times 8. So what I'm going to do now? This will be 11/7. I take the 2 to multiply this. This will be 3.5 times. I take a 2 from here to multiply this. This will be what? 3.5 times what? 4. 11/7. I take 2 to multiply this. This will be 7. I take 2 to multiply this will be what? 7. I cancel and I cancel will be what? 11 times 7, and that is 77 centimeter cube. Volume is measured in centimeter cube. Now the question students might be asking, why are you getting this one? That was why we taught you numerical processes earlier. You see, this is a very interesting movie. Every character that you had seen, every topic you had seen before now was for a moment such as this. So when you get back, critically analyze this and you'll see what I've done. I took 2. Remember that 22 is actually what? 2 times 11. So I take that 2 and I multiply 1.75. It's 3.5. How do I know? Remember where I came from. I divided by 2 and I got 1.75. So if I'm going to go back to 3.5, I will have to multiply it by 2. That is the connection we need you to make when you're solving problems. Now look at this 4. I picked 1. 8 is actually what? 4 times 2. I picked one of the 2 and I multiplied with this. And it brought this one to 3.5. I was left with 4. Now, 3.5 times 2 will give me 7. So what did I do? Remember that 4 is actually 2 times 2. I used this 2 to multiply this, I got 7. I used this 2 to multiply this, and I got another 7. All these you have to process on your own. All right. Okay, so that takes care of that. So let's go to exercise. Let's go to question 2 now. We're done with question 1. We're going to question 2, and that will likely be the last question for today. In question 2, we are told that the tank on a petrol, or rather, the tank on a petrol lorry, good, is a cylinder 2 meters in diameter and 7 meters long. So we start by stating the details. You don't need to write story. Don't write story for us. What's the first thing there? Diameter is equal to 2 meters. Diameter is 2 meters. So radius will be equal to 2 over 2, and that is what? 1 meter. Settled. Now, what is the height? I've told us that height and length are the same thing. It depends on how the cylinder is lying. So it will be what? 7 meters. I hope I'm right with that. 7 meters. Good. Now it says calculate its volume in meter cube. Calculate its volume in meter cube. So in meter cube, comma, it will be what? The dimensions are already in meter. It will be what? Pi r squared h. Pi is 22/7. Radius is what? 1. 1 times 1 times height, 7. This will go with this, and I'm going to have 22 meter cubed. So the volume is what? 22 meter cubed. Now, that's not the end of the question. You are told to convert to what? You are told to convert to what? Kiloliters. We are told to convert to what? Kiloliters. Kiloliters. So what is 1 kiloliter? What is 1 kiloliter? And I'll just give you that interpretation, and then I will trust that you'll be able to continue from there. All right, let me leave this. Oh, I need to clean this. All right, so what is 1 kiloliter? Look at this. 1 kiloliter is equal to 1 meter cube. So 1 kiloliter, 1 kiloliter is equal to 1 meter cube. So that's the conversion. So it means that if I have 22 meter cube, 22 meter cube will now be equal to 22 kiloliter. So that settles that. So for those of us that have